His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
जय
ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
जय
Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajakaचार्य Ashtottara Shata Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
जय
Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai.
जय
नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय.
जय
प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय.
जय
श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय. ब्रज भूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय.
जय
नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय.
जय
पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय.
जय
जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय.
जय
गंगा माई की जय.
जय
यमुना माई की जय.
जय
तुलसी महारानी की जय.
जय
भक्ति देव की जय.
जय
ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय.
जय
समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय.
जय
निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि
हरि बोल।
बोल. All glories to assembled devotees.
हरे कृष्णा
All glories to assembled devotees.
हरे कृष्णा
All glories to assembled devotees.
हरे कृष्णा
All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने. नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let me share the screen. Thank you for joining in Srimad Bhagavatam class today. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto, 3. One second.
I can share.
If you can, that will be good, Mataji,
Okay.
please. I'll have to open it up. Either way.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's picture came. It was good.
Yes, thank you. So we are reciting from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 5. This chapter is entitled The Talks Between Vidura and Maitreya. Maitreya Muni. Yes. So let's recite the verse. Munir vivakshur bhagavad gunanam sakhapite bharatamaha krishnaha yasmin rinam gramya sukhanuvadair matir grihitanuhare kathayam. Munir vivakshur bhagavad gunanam sakhapite bharatamaha krishnaha यस्मिन् ऋणां ग्राम्य सुखानुवादैर् मतिर्गृहीतानुहरे कथायाम्. मुनिर्विवक्षुर्भगवद्गुणानां सखापि ते भारतमाह कृष्णः यस्मिन् ऋणां ग्राम्य सुखानुवादैर् मतिर्गृहीतानुहरे कथायाम्. Please chant.
मुनिर्विवक्षुर्भगवद्गुणानां सखापि ते भारतमाह कृष्णः यस्मिन् नृणां ग्राम्य सुखानुवादे मतिर्गृहीतानुहरे कथायाम्.
मुनिर्विवक्षुर्भगवद्गुणानां सखापि ते भारत आह कृष्णा यस्मिन् नृणां ग्राम्य सुखानुवादै मतिर्गृहीतानु हरे कथायाम्. हरे कृष्णा.
Hare Krishna. Munir Vivakshur Bhagavad Gunanam Sakapiti Bharatam Ahi Krishna Yasmin Nirnam Gramya Sukhanuvadhayar Matir Grihita No Hari Katayam Hayam. Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna. मुनिर्विवक्षुर्भगवद् गुणानां शाखापीते भरतम् आहा कृष्णः यस्मिन् नृणां ग्रामो सुखानुवादीन् मोतिर्गृहीतानु हरे कथायाम्. हरे कृष्ण.
हरे कृष्ण. मुनिर्विवक्षुर्भगवद्गुणानां सखापि ते भरतं आह कृष्णः यस्मिन् नृणां ग्राम्यसुखानुवादैर्मतिर्गृहीतानु हरे कथायाम्. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna. मुनिर्विवक्षुर् भगवद्गुणानां सखापि ते भारतम् आह कृष्णा यस्मिन् नृणां ग्राम्य सुखानुवादैर्मतिर्गृहीतानु हरेः कथायाम्. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Okay, let's do word-to-word translation. Munihi, the sage. Vivakshuhu, describe. Bhagavat, of the personality of Godhead. Gunanam, transcendental qualities. Sakha, friend. Api, also. Te, your. Bharatam, the Mahabharata. Aha, has described. Krishnaha, Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa. Yasmin, in which. Nrinam, of the people. Gramya, worldly. Sukha anuvadaihi, pleasure derived from mundane topics. Matihi, attention. Grihitanu, just to draw towards. Harehe, of the Lord. Kathayam, speeches of. Bhagavad Gita. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Your friend, the great sage Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa, has already described the transcendental qualities of the Lord in his great work, the Mahabharata. But the whole idea is to draw the attention of the mass of people to Krishna Katha, Bhagavad Gita, through their strong affinity for hearing mundane topics. I'll read that again. Your friend, the great sage Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa, has already described the transcendental qualities of the Lord in his great work, the Mahabharata. But the whole idea is to draw the attention of the mass of people to Krishna Katha, Bhagavad Gita, through their strong affinity for hearing mundane topics. Purport. The great sage Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa is the author. Mataji. Yeah. The great sage Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa is the author of all Vedic literature, of which his works Vedanta Sutra, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Mahabharat are very popular readings. Vedanta Sutra, Srimad Bhagavatam, Mahabharat. As stated in Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 4th chapter, text 25, Srila Vyasdev compiled the Mahabharat for the less intelligent class of men who take more interest in mundane topics than in the philosophy of life. The Vedanta Sutra was compiled for persons already above the mundane topics, who might already have tasted the bitterness of the so-called happiness of mundane affairs. The first aphorism of Vedanta Sutra is Athato Brahma Jigyasa, that is, only when one has finished the business of mundane inquiries in the marketplace of sense gratification can one make relevant inquiries regarding Brahman, the transcendence. Those persons who are busy with the mundane inquiries which fill the newspapers and other such literatures are classified as Stri Shudra Dvija Bandhus, or women, the laborer class, and unworthy sons of the higher classes, Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya. Such less um, Such less intelligent men cannot understand the purpose of Vedanta Sutra, although they may make a show of studying the sutras in a perverted way. The real purpose of Vedanta Sutra is explained by the author himself in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And anyone trying to understand Vedanta Sutra without reference to Srimad Bhagavatam is certainly misguided. Such misguided persons who are interested in the mundane affairs of philanthropic and altruistic work under the misconception of the body as the self could better take advantage of the Mahabharata, which was specifically compiled by Srila Vyasdev for their benefit. The great author has compiled the Mahabharata in such a way that the less intelligent class of men who are more interested in mundane topics may read the Mahabharata with great relish, and in the course of such mundane happiness can also take advantage of Bhagavad Gita, the preliminary study of Srimad Bhagavatam or the Vedanta Sutra. Srila Vyasdev had no interest in writing a history of mundane activities other than to give less intelligent persons a chance for transcendental realization through Bhagavad Gita. Vidura's reference to the Mahabharata indicates that he had heard of the Mahabharata from Vyasdev, his real father, while he was away from home and was touring the places of pilgrimage. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guro Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanditamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you all so much for joining today. My humble obeisances to all the, especially Srila Prabhupada disciples and all the other devotees. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, fifth chapter. This chapter is entitled The Talks Between Vidura and Maitreya Muni. What we are seeing here is Vidura, after meeting with Uddhava on the banks of Yamuna, and being directed by Uddhava to go and meet Maitreya Muni in order to get that confidential knowledge which was revealed by Krishna to Uddhava just before Krishna passed away. Vidura wanted to hear that, but Uddhava gave just a little bit. And he said, Maitreya Muni was also present, you can hear from him. So now Vidura is in Haridwar in front of Maitreya Muni, and Vidura put several is now we are in the course of Vidura's inquiries. He's asking various questions. So initially Vidura put a general question about how to get real happiness. People are not happy in this world. They're trying to get happiness through material activities, but that's not making them happy, and still they're trying for the same, how to get that real happiness. Then he inquired about creation, how the Supreme Lord creates, right? So he asked those details. And he said, I'm not interested in hearing about Dharma, Artha, Kama. I've heard enough of that, right? I'm interested in hearing Krishna Katha. So then when Vidura said, I wanted to hear Krishna Katha, a question, Maitreya may ask a question, but my dear Vidura, you have already heard Krishna Katha so many times, you must have heard Krishna Katha. For that you came here, to hear Krishna Katha from me specifically, right? You have already heard. So what is Vidura's answer? The verse previous to this, Vidura said that who can ever be satiated by hearing Krishna Katha? Huh? See, even within, if you, Krishna Prasadam is also Krishna's mercy. But Prasadam has physical dimensions. There's only so much that you can take. Yes? And your stomach also has physical dimensions. You cannot, there's a limitation. There's physical limitation. But for Krishna Katha, your ears, right? You have 5 knowledge acquiring senses: eyes, ears, nose, skin, and tongue. The ears are made of what? They're made of, so first the subtle, in creation, the subtle elements are formed first, and then the grosser elements are formed. So ears are coming from what? From ether, space. Is there any dimensions for space? No, sky has no dimensions. That means you can put any amount. It will never be filled up. Similarly, sound also is coming from the same. So sound also has no dimensions. That means you can fill any amount and you can still have room to take more. There will never be a point where you're satiated. Like you take a glass and you fill it with water, then if it is filled, you cannot pour any more. But does it happen like that for Krishna Katha? No. It is Amurta. Amurta means there's no limitation. You can just keep on filling. That's why, can anyone ever become satiated by hearing Krishna Katha? So that was the previous verse, the glorification of Krishna Katha. And also we heard that what is the result of this Krishna Katha? What happens when you hear Krishna Katha? What is our problem here? In the Srimad Bhagavatam, we will see the root cause, right? Of course, the root cause is forgetfulness of Krishna. But in this world, in this conditioned life, what is it that is binding us to this material world? It is family affection. Family affection, the hard knot in the heart, is the attraction between male and female, especially between, husband and wife. You have other family ties also. You have to your parents, to your children. But at a certain age, they grow up, they go away. But the tie between man and woman, that is very hard to overcome. It doesn't, come off so easily. That's the hardest knot that's really keeping us in this material existence. Simply by hearing Krishna Katha, continuously, you won't even realize when this knot is loosened and when it is gone. So this is the problem which is binding us to this material world. It can be overcome so easily simply by hearing this Krishna Katha. You keep on hearing Krishna Katha, Krishna's wonderful pastimes. And even in that Krishna Katha, there are details. What are the details? Shravanam. So we said Shravanam has no limit. And in that Shravanam also, there is 4 types. There is Nama Shravanam, Rupa Shravanam, Guna Shravanam, and Leela Shravanam. And you have to go in that order also. Nama Shravanam means hearing the holy names of the Lord. Rupa Shravanam means hearing about the beautiful form of the Lord. Guna Shravanam means hearing about his wonderful qualities. And Leela Shravanam finally is hearing about his sweet pastimes. So first of all, you should hear the names properly. Why? Because by hearing Krishna's names, your heart becomes purified. When your heart is sufficiently purified, then when you hear about his form, you will actually be able to grasp. It will stay, right? You will be able to grasp his form, the description of his form. And after that, when that form is nicely fixed in your consciousness, you hear about his qualities. So those qualities will now remain in your consciousness, Krishna's qualities. Once his form and his qualities are nicely, registered in your consciousness, now when you hear Krishna's Leela, his pastimes, you are actually able to relish those pastimes. You are able to do justice. So therefore, the order in which your Shravanam should go is first Nama Shravanam, then Rupa Shravanam, Leela Shravanam, and ultimately Guna Shravanam, and ultimately Leela Shravanam. So this we saw in yesterday's verse. So now in today's verse, what is Vidura saying to Maitreya Muni? Krishna Katha, right? So you should hear Krishna Katha is said. So he's saying, Munir Vivakshur Bhagavad Gunanam Sakhapite Bharatam Aha Krishna. So, oh my dear Maitreya Muni, your friend Vyasdev, who is Vyasdev? Vidur's father, and also Vyasdev is a contemporary of Maitreya Muni. That is why Uddhava sent Vidur to Maitreya Muni, because Uddhava was younger in age to Vidura. He was the next generation. So he thought this is Maryada Vyatikrama to instruct your senior, your superior, right? Someone who's, who's worshipable to you by age, right? He's your senior. He's like a father. So it's not proper. It's not proper means on the spiritual level, actually, it is not improper. But he has that choice. You can choose not to do that. So Uddhava chose not to instruct to somebody who's his senior. But he sent him to Maitreya Muni because Maitreya Muni and Vyasdev are contemporaries. So Vidura is junior to Maitreya Muni, so he sent him. So now in this verse, uh, Vidura is saying to Maitreya Muni, "O Muni, right, your friend Vyasdev has described the qualities of Bhagavan." So we saw previous verse is talking about Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha means Krishna's names, his form, his qualities, and his pastimes. So your friend Vyasdev has very nicely described Bhagavan's qualities where in Mahabharata. He has very nicely described Krishna's qualities in Mahabharata. But what was the purpose of this Mahabharata? What is Mahabharata speaking about? Mahabharata is history. You see, there is intrigue, there is war, there is love, there is, friendship, and, politics. You name it. Everything is there in Mahabharata. What is not there in Mahabharata? So he gave, this is called Gramya Katha. You know what is Gramya Katha? Gramya Katha means the talk which deals with Dharma, Artha, Kama. Dharma means the various types of work that you do in this world, right? Work which is prescribed by Shastra. That is Dharma. Not just any type of work. That work which is prescribed by Shastra is Dharma. By doing that Dharma, what type of result will you get? Right? Artha. Artha means by doing this type of work, you will get this result. It can be in terms of money, it can be in terms of, fame, right? Skill, name, so on and so forth. So, dharma, artha, and when you get that result, how you can enjoy it. This is the subject matter of Gramya Katha. Dharma, artha, kama. What is Krishna's opinion about this? Krishna is telling Arjun, Traigunya Vishaya Veda, Traigunya Vishaya Veda, Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. The Vedas are dealing mainly with the three modes, with the subject matter of the three modes of material nature. That means in the Vedas, a big portion of the Vedas is talking about these Dharma, Artha, Kama. A big section of the Vedas, 3 out of 4 parts, is actually talking about Dharma, Artha, Kama. And Krishna's opinion is Nistraigunya Bhava, Arjuna. You rise above these 3 modes. Dharma, Artha, Kama is dealing with the 3 modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, right? Dharma in goodness, passion, ignorance. Similarly, Artha and Kama also in goodness, passion, and ignorance. That's the in Bhagavad Gita. If you read 14th chapter, 17th chapter, 18th chapter, Krishna is speaking about the 3 modes of material nature. So, a major portion of Vedas is speaking about Dharma, Artha, and Kama. But Krishna's instruction is you rise above these 3 modes. But Vyasdev has given this in the Vedas. Why he has given? Of course, Vedas are there eternally, but he has. What was Vyasdev's purpose in giving the Vedas in written form? Vedas are eternally existing, but he gave a written form to the Vedas. What was his purpose in giving the written form? Foreseeing the people of Kali Yuga, seeing their deplorable condition. Manda sumanda matayo manda bhagyahi upadrutaha. They are lazy, they are unfortunate, and they are always disturbed. Manda bhagya, unfortunate. They're very slow in understanding. First of all, they don't have the intelligence. And even if they have a little bit of intelligence, they are very lazy to understand. Right? And somehow or other, if they manage to overcome their laziness, they're so unfortunate, they will go to bogus gurus instead of going to the real guru. And somehow or other, if they come to the real guru also, They spend all the time fighting with each other. So this is the condition of the people of Kali Yuga. Now, if there are not even books, then how they can retain what they are hearing from Guru? So therefore, Vyasdev, out of his kindness, out of his compassion, he gave the one Veda. Actually, I'll see if I can quickly share the screen with you to show you what happens.
You should be able to share.
Okay, Mataji. So I want to, yes. Okay, this is what I want to show. Originally, you're able to see my screen, right? This black box is originally one Veda. You're able to see, Mataji? Vindhyavali Mataji, yes. This is one Veda. Originally, there is only one Veda and it is called Yajur Veda. Yajur Veda. What did Vyasdev do? Previous to Kali Yuga, the Vedas were spoken. Previous to Kali Yuga, the Vedas were just spoken by Guru and one way. Vedas means there's only one Veda. The entire Veda is taught to the disciple. And the students were so sharp and, they had such capacity to retain the whole Veda. But coming to Kali Yuga, poor memory, right? They cannot retain it.
No memory.
And with all the other disqualifications. So Vyasdev, what he did was he divided that Veda into parts. How exactly he divided? This picture is showing you. I will explain how he divided. So originally there was one Veda, it is called Yajur Veda. What do Vedas have? They have mantras. Vedas are in the form of mantras. So this is a fire sacrifice. If you're seeing my cursor, this red box.
Yeah.
Okay. So in a fire sacrifice, there are 4 priests sitting on 4 sides of the fire sacrifice. Each priest is known by a different name. This priest is called Hota. This priest is called Udgata. This one is called Advaryu. And this is Brahma. 4 priests. And each of the 4 priests are chanting different sets of mantras from the Vedas.
Oh.
Each one has a set of mantra, and also there's a purpose for each of these mantras, right? Each Veda, the mantras, they're meant for a particular purpose. So the mantras which are recited by the Hota priest, what did Vyasdev do? He took all the mantras that are to be recited by the Hota and he named it Rig Veda and gave them to one disciple. If you see here on this side, here in blue I wrote. So he took all the mantras that are to be recited by Hota. He called it Rig Veda. He made it one book, Rig Veda, and he handed to one disciple and said, now you study only this and you pass it on to your disciples in disciplic succession. You pass it on, right? Generation after generation, the Rig Veda. So one line, one disciplic line is simply disseminating this Rig Veda. Then he took mantras to be recited by Udgata and called that Samaveda. Samaveda. The mantras to be recited by Udgata are called Samaveda. And that Samaveda he gave to another disciple. Then the mantras to be recited by Advaryu he called Yajur Veda. Originally it is Yajur Veda. From within Yajur Veda he took mantras that are to be recited by Advaryu and now he called it Yajur Veda. And then the mantras that are to be recited by Brahma, he took those mantras and he called it Atharva Veda. So Atharva Veda deals with this black magic, that is Atharva Veda. Okay. So these are the 4 priests. So in this way, from one Veda, Vyasdev formed 4 Vedas. Even after removing these 4 sets of mantras, that is Rig Veda, Sam Veda, Yajur Veda, and Atharva Veda, still there were some histories remaining in the Veda in the form of stories. That he took out in the form of Puranas and Itihasas and gave it to another disciple. Puranas and Itihasas is nothing but Panchama Veda. They are also Veda. So therefore, Vedas are not 4, Vedas are 5. Rig Veda, Sama Veda, Yajur Veda, Atharva Veda, Purana, Itihasas. These 4, Rig, Sama, Yajur, Atharva, are in the form of mantras, whereas Puranas and Itihasas are in the form of history. That means like stories. Nevertheless, they are also Veda. They are also eternal. They are not written by any person. They are eternally existing, manifested from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is the purpose of Puranas and Itihasas? Puranas, and it's because these are in the form of mantras. Can you understand when someone simply recites mantras to you? Are you able to understand what it means? No. But the explanation of that mantra is given very nicely in the Puranas and Itihasas. This is the advantage of Purana and Itihasa. The meaning of the Vedic mantra is very nicely and completely elaborated in the Puranas and Itihasas. So Mahabharata is Itihasa. Puranas and Itihasas, Mahabharata is Itihasa. So what did Vyasdev do? First of all, he divided one Veda into 5. Okay. And then in the 5th one, there is Mahabharata. He gave Mahabharata. This Mahabharata is meant mainly for who? Okay. Mahabharata consists of Dharma, Artha, Kama. It has everything. It's not that it has only Dharma, Artha, Kama, only Gramya Katha. It's not like that. Mahabharata has everything which is there in the Vedas. I think I told this story long time ago in ISKCON Philly morning Bhagavatam class that once the demigods went to Lord Brahma to find out which is the heaviest Shastra. So they put all the other scriptures on one side and they put Mahabharata on one side. Mahabharata went down on the scale. That is why it is called Mahabharata. Bhara means what? Weight, heavy. Bhara. Mahabharata. So Mahabharata means it's very heavy. In what? Not just in terms of weight, not in kilos and pounds. It's heavy because it has everything in it. Whatever is there in the Vedas, you'll find everything in the Mahabharata. That is why Mahabharata. Then what is the purpose? Vyasdev has given this Mahabharata for the sake of the less intelligent, it is said, Stri, Shudra and Dvijabandhu. For women, Shudras and Dvijabandhu. Dvijabandhu means those who have taken birth in higher classes like Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, but they don't have the qualities of those higher classes. Even though they have taken birth in higher classes, they are not exhibiting the qualities of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. One point must be said here. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra is not by birth. Just yesterday we celebrated the disappearance day of His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has very strongly and heavily preached against caste system which is based on birth. You don't decide a person's caste by his birth. Although it can be a small factor, provided there is that type of training. Only when there is training, and how do you test if there is training or not? Always, whenever there is a course, whenever there is training, there is examination in the end. You have to actually show, you have to demonstrate what you have understood from that course. That's when you'll be given your certificate. Yes, you have actually passed. Otherwise, you can get participation certificate. But to actually, you have grasped the subject, you have to be tested. Similarly, if you say, I'm a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra, you have to demonstrate it by your qualities. Guna, karma, vibhagashaha. So, this Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Why did I go there? You remember? Sometimes I get carried away. I was telling you about,
It's not by birth. We are not
yes.
Brahmin.
Before that, what was the point before that?
We're talking about Srila Bhakti
Ma-
Siddhanta saying,
Yeah, that was about birth. Just point before that. Anyway,
And
if you don't know. Yeah, Mataji, Sumant.
Mahabharata and Mataji, Mahabharata is for Shudra, for less intelligent people.
Good job. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. So Mahabharata is meant for Shudras, Dvijabandhus, and Stri. Yes. So then who is a Dvijabandhu? That's why it came. Dvijabandhu means who's born in higher class, but they don't have the qualities. So you cannot call them as Brahman, Kshatriya. But still they took birth, so you should give them some, yes, you are the relative of a Brahmana. Somebody who has the qualities of a Brahmana, you're born to that person. Okay, you're a friend of a Brahmana, but not an actual Brahmana or a Kshatriya Vaishya, like that. So that means Mahabharata is meant for the lowest people in society. In what sense? In Chaitanya Charitamrita, recently we read, Srila Prabhupada explains there also. Ramananda Rai. When Ramananda Rai met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for the first time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was glorifying him that, oh, you are so great. I heard about you from Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And then Ramananda Rai is saying, no, I am the most fallen of the Shudras. Right? I'm even among Shudras, I'm the lowest. So there in the purport, Srila Prabhupada was explaining, how do you decide who is a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra? It's based on their Krishna consciousness, actually. To what extent one is Krishna conscious, to that extent he belongs to the higher caste. The extent to which he has nothing to do with, so that is also just like you when you look at the sun, right? There is light and there is the sun planet and there's actual deity. So somebody who's at least able to appreciate light, that is also one level of appreciating the sun, although you're not seeing the sun. So similarly, Shudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya, Brahmana means also that verse in Bhagavad Gita, Dhumena vriyate vahinir, right? That means when the soul is covered by different layers, right? When it is covered by different layers of what? Lust, compared to a mirror covered by dust, or fire covered by smoke, or the embryo covered by womb. Various thickness, right? There's different levels of covering on the soul. So where there is a thin covering means what? That means you're relatively, compared to others, you're more Krishna conscious. You're closer. That's what it means. When you say Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, it means the different levels of covering of your consciousness. Also, it is like the modes, right? So those who are in the mode of goodness means there's less covering. Those in the mode of passion means little bit of more covering. Ignorance means deep, it's thick covering. So based on this, there's Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So Shudras, Dvijabandhus, and women, their Krishna consciousness is very low by nature, by that body, But by association, anyone can come to Krishna consciousness. So Vyasdev's compassion is he does not want to deprive. He has given the Vedas. Who can benefit from the Vedas? You have to be at least a Dvija. Dvija means twice born. Vaishya, Kshatriya, Brahmana. They will benefit from the Vedas. Then the Vedas, he gave the essence of the Vedas in the form of Vedanta Sutras. The essence of the Vedas is given in the form of Vedanta Sutras. But they're also in the form of sutras. Sutras means in very few words, in very few words, so much is said. Now you need somebody who can decode that. It's given in cryptic, form. Someone has to give a commentary on that. Otherwise, you won't understand what is there. Can can the women and Shudras and Dvijabandhus take advantage of this? No. So therefore, he has given Mahabharata. Of course, Mahabharata was given first, and then he gave Vedanta Sutras. And after Vedanta Sutras, he has given us Srimad Bhagavatam. So, in the purport, what Srila Prabhupada is saying is, according to your grade, right? If you're in first grade, you're taught first grade math. If you're in 10th grade, you'll be taught 10th grade math according to your level of development. And if you're a postgraduate, then you'll be taught more difficult calculus depending on your level of development. So similarly, those who are not so well developed, in what sense? In terms of Krishna consciousness, all they can think of is eating, mating, defending, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. If that's my knowledge, this is mode of ignorance, by the way. Shudras are in the mode of ignorance. Mode of ignorance means your knowledge is limited to simply these four things: how to eat, how to sleep, how to mate, how to defend. You can do it in a very sophisticated way, but your knowledge does not go beyond the body. All you can think of how to enjoy with this body. All your plans, your work, everything revolves around these four things: eating, sleeping, mating, defending. So for such people, Vyasdev wants to benefit them also. How to benefit them? They won't be able to take advantage of the Vedas, Vedanta Sutras, because the language, first of all, is so complex. Sanskrit language, the mantras, they wouldn't be able to understand. But he wanted to, and also they wouldn't even come to Srimad Bhagavatam directly, by the way. He gave Srimad Bhagavatam. But, this is the conditioning of a conditioned soul. There is dharma, artha, kama. If I do this, what am I going to get in return? That is the question. Even when you preach Krishna consciousness, what will I get by doing this? That is why initially you will see, when you preach initially, it is said that you will be liberated, no more suffering. Of course, you will get that. But is that why we do devotional service? So that we can become free from this suffering? Yes, for a first grader, you can say that. But that's not the purpose of practicing devotional service. You get much, 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 much more. That is your constitutional position. That's what you're supposed to do. But if you say that to a new person, this is your constitutional position, this is what you're supposed to do, drop everything you're doing, surrender to Krishna 24/7, you do devotional service, will he accept that? He will say, I'd rather go and do an extra job and earn more money. I have no time. But if you say, oh, if you do this, you'll also do well in your material life and this and that. Oh, really? Now I can get, now I'll do. So that is Mahabharata. Mahabharata deals with a lot of Gramya Katha, Karma Kanda. You do this karma, you'll get this result. You'll become a king. You'll get a beautiful wife. You'll get a lot of wealth, so on and so forth. So people who are less intelligent, they become attracted to these results. So they will come for these results. But what is Vyasdev's intention? To simply keep them with that? No. His intention is to bring them to Bhagavad Gita. Inside Mahabharata is Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is giving you the goal of life. They will come being attracted to these material results. They will come for the material results. But while they are there, as they're reading, hearing Mahabharata, they will also come to the section of Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. Just drop everything, surrender to me. So that was Srila Vyasdev's good intention why he has given Mahabharata. Why is Vidura saying this? Because Vidura said in the previous verse, please tell Krishna Katha, give me Krishna Katha, I want to hear Krishna Katha. The benefits of Krishna Katha, he said. And he's saying, even though Vyasdev has given Mahabharata, people may think Mahabharata is filled with Dharma, Artha, Kama, Gramya Katha, but In reality, his intention was only to give Krishna Katha. It's like sugar coated medicine. He wants to give medicine nicely coated with sugar. People will come for the sugar, but when they take the candy, actually there is medicine inside, and that medicine will cure their disease. So, what is Vidura asking Maitreya Muni? Please give me Krishna Katha. There is much more to be discussed, but I will stop here to see if there is any discussion, any questions or comments. No. Okay. So then
Full
one.
Mataji. So, but I have one question. It's what is it? Vyasadeva. That's why he gave Krishna Katha. So in that also, why Narada Muni asked Vyasadeva to write about Krishna Katha?
Excellent question.
Because that
Thank
is
you.
the one he was missing. No?
Yes.
Thank you.
Why? Yeah, he's given already Bhagavad Gita, and he's given Vedanta Sutras, which are the essence of all the Vedas.
Yeah.
And why? And first of all, why
Still he was
Vyasadeva is
unhappy.
yeah, why he was not happy,
Yeah.
and he couldn't figure out why he's not happy. And he himself comes to the conclusion, maybe I did not glorify the Lord sufficiently. So
Okay.
what happens here is, see, we said the Vedas are mainly dealing with the three modes of material nature, the subject matter of the three modes of material. That is most part of the Vedas. Why? Because conditioned souls are attracted to only that. To
Yeah.
attract all types of conditioned souls, a major portion of Vedas is talking about Karma Kanda. Now, what is the drawback in this is that naturally, you see, this is human tendency. This is the tendency of a conditioned soul. Wherever you're given a little, what do you say? Mm, what is the word here? You know, like lenience, right? You're given some space to, somebody said in chat, like you're given some liberty, or you're given some discount somewhere. People will hold on to that only.
Yeah.
I will give you one example, which is common to all of us. Srila Prabhupada said, chant at least 16 rounds. How many of us actually chant more than 16 rounds every day? Please tell me. Don't tell me.
I do once
I
in
know
a while.
there are devotees.
I
Yes.
do once in a while.
But majority of the devotees, if I finish my 16,
yeah,
I'm done. You see? Why? I'm following the Acharya. The Acharya has said chant 16 rounds. In fact, in initiations, you will see when somebody would say, what are the 4 regulative principles? And how many rounds will you chant? 16? At least 16. Srila Prabhupada says. That's minimum. But we want to do only the minimum, and we will think, yes, now I have done my part. So similarly, Vyasdev is the incarnation, the avatar of the Supreme Lord. Vyasdev has given us the Vedas, the Mahabharata, in which he's talking about Karma Kanda. You do this dharma and you'll get this result. You do that dharma, you'll get that result. Vyasdev has said, so I'm good. I'm following. Now I will do my dharma. I will get the result. I will enjoy it, and I'm a good devotee, or I'm a dharmic person. I'm a religious person because I'm following Vyasdev, the authority. So what is the problem with that? The problem with this is you will be still in this cycle only. You're not coming out of the bodily concept. If you're stuck in dharma, artha, kama, dharma you do in order to get wealth, artha, and that you want for sense gratification. Birth after birth, you'll be going round and round, right? Like a Ferris wheel, go up and down, up and down. Ah Brahma Bhuvanar Loka Punaravartino Arjuna. Right? Mamupete tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. But if you worship the Supreme Lord, then there is no rebirth. But forgetting that, they're very happy. Why? Because conditioned soul means he likes sense gratification.
Condition.
You don't have to teach him, oh, you should do sense gratification. Like never. You don't need. This is the misfortune of today's education system. We are taught how to enjoy nicely. how to earn more wealth, right? And in order to earn wealth, what are the different types of professions you have? And by that, how you can enjoy in different ways. For this, no training is required. Animals are also doing that. They don't go to schools and colleges. They also eat, they also mate, they also enjoy life. Do we need education for that? So this is the nature of the conditioned soul. So why Narad Muni was chastising Vyasdev is, you are an authority. You should have told them what is the goal of life. Instead, majority of Vedas, you simply talked about dharma, artha, kama, dharma, artha, kama. And people are saying, Vyasdev has said, so we are good. Now this is all we will do. So you wanted to deliver them, and you are becoming the cause of their remaining in this material existence. So then what should we do? Now Vyasdev also will say, no, how you are saying? I didn't say. In the Upanishads, I talked about the absolute truth, Brahman. It's not that I didn't speak about that. It's not that I was talking only about Dharma, Artha and Kama. I also talked about moksha, liberation. So then, Narad Muni said, yes, you talked about it, but you didn't talk about the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? So then he says, no, I talked about that also. In Bhagavad Gita, I said, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, right? I said, it's not that I didn't say. Bhagavad Gita is part of Mahabharata, remember? So then, there also Narad Muni says, if you want somebody to really do what you're telling them to do, you repeat it again and again and again. If you say once, they will just push it aside. You have said about dharma, artha, kama again and again and again. That is nicely set in their consciousness now. How to work and how to enjoy. But about Krishna and surrendering to Krishna, one verse you said. Now you write again, saying, repeat it again and again and again. Then they will understand, oh, this must be important. When something is repeated, even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna does that. When something is important, he will say again and again. Second chapter about you're not this body or soul. How many verses Krishna says that? This way, that way. And sometimes the same verse also, again, he's repeating. The soul has no death. The body is finished. Body is not eternal. Soul is eternal. On and on. Because that's important point. So he keeps saying that again and again. And even after speaking the whole Bhagavad Gita, listen to me once again, Arjun, as I'm going to repeat to you. I love you so much. You're so dear to me. So I'm going to give you the essence so that it will be easy for you to recollect whatever I have said. Even in the 18th chapter at the end, after the whole thing, again Krishna is speaking. He's giving the conclusion. Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Right? You do this. And sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. So repetition is essential. You must repeat it again and again and again, which you did not do, my dear Vyasdev. So then now Vyasdev got the message, and then now he gives Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam he had given before, but not like this. And this Srimad Bhagavatam which he gave, it came after giving Vedanta Sutra. Vedanta Sutra is it's like the cream of all the Vedas. A natural, so now Vedanta Sutra is again in the form of mantras and very short sutras. So commentary on that is a nice explanation on the Vedanta Sutras. Nothing can go beyond Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the ultimate. Like that. Okay, Vindhyavali Mataji.
Thank you very much, Mataji.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Mataji. The whole class was so sweet, Mataji.
So sweet.
You are also trying to give a sugar-coated
Sugar
medicine to us.
So we want that sugar thing. Now, after eating that, we don't want to leave the class.
Yeah.
What to do?
I
we
was
do?
running here and there. Still, I was taking my phone with me all the time.
My experience, my personal experience, I also did that. While cooking, I try to listen to classes. You don't get the same focus.
I
If
know.
you really
Yes,
want to
Mataji.
learn something,
That's true.
I have seen, and recently also it happened, to compare, I've seen, when you actually sit down, and even better, if you turn on the camera, then you have to
Concentrate more.
yeah, you have to be there, and then you're
Yeah.
actually grasping. But when you're doing other things, many things in between, what happens is connections, you lose connection because one point leads
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
next and then to the next. If you miss one point in between, you lose the connection. So that's what happens.
So what
But
Yeah,
is
I know, Mataji,
dharma,
but
artha, kama? That what is the elaborated thing for the kama? Is that sense gratification only?
yeah,
What is
sense gratification. Kama means enjoying, sense
enjoy?
gratification.
Okay. Yeah, that's what
Fulfilling.
I would.
Thank you all
I
so much.
wrote your that picture also for me to.
Acha, acha. Yeah.
See, my daughter also does morning. She has to run here and there. She cooking. She cooks and keeps everything go. And then
I
what she
understand,
does is
Mataji.
she sees
Yeah.
the YouTube again.
Later, yes.
But you know that cannot be like we are discussing like this. It cannot be that tasty.
yes.
What to do?
You see the
Yeah.
I
YouTube.
know, Mataji, but we are not that fortunate like Bindaboli Mataji.
That's true. That's true. Now I am done
Yeah.
everything.
My
I
kids has
am.
to go to school and
Yeah, that's
doing all
true.
the work.
Now I am done everything. I sit in front of the iPad.
No, you are so fortunate.
Thank you, Mataji. I think I should let the other devotees also,
Thank you very much.
they have
Thank you.
their work.
Vancha
Thank you all so much.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa
Sarvasya
sindhubhya
kripa
eva cha
sindhubhya cha
patitanam
patitanam
pavanebhyo
pavanebhyo
vaishnavebhyo
vaishnavyo.
namo namaha. Thank you very much.
Bharati Mataji, Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Suman
Very
Mataji,
nice.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mother Arcanabhakti.
Thank you, Dronacharya Prabhu. Kaivalya Prabhu, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.